timing is perfect. I'm sure we've all heard this statement over and over again, but what does it actually mean? Well, God knows all that we will encounter, and He knows all that we will ever do. And He does not want us to go into new seasons unprepared. This is why we need to trust that His timing is perfect. Our generation is so big on making things happen now and being in the moment. And this kind of mentality is so foolish. It says in Proverbs 20 verses 21, an inheritance gained hastily at the beginning will not be blessed at the end. And in Proverbs 21 verses 5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. I'll give you some examples of things we try to rush that aren't meant to be. Money. This is something that is very important, that we understand the impact that it can have, negatively and positively. You see, it happens so much in this world. When someone either gains an inheritance young, or when someone wins the lottery, the money disappears fast because there was no growth, no wisdom built or understanding from hard work and time that it would have required to accumulate the money. Relationships are also something that we might try to rush or to make happen. And this can be so dangerous. It's dangerous because our emotions are powerful and we can quite easily confuse our will with God's. When we do this, it can be damaging, not only to us mentally, but it can have effect on the mental state of others. You see, when we go about our lives rushing through things and trying to make them happen when we want, we ignore something extremely important, and that is time. God uses time to develop in us important things through lessons, and through those lessons we gain understanding and wisdom. And in these situations and through that we mature. These important things are what God wants us to have so that we can do what He has called us to do, and so that we can make the best decisions in the seasons to come. God wants us to have peace. It says in Isaiah 26 verses 3, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts you. Peace is so important because with peace we have no anxiety. But how do we get peace with such a fast-paced mentality and all the stresses of life? We can find peace in slowing down and being still with God. When we are still, it makes it so much easier to hear from God through His Word. And when we listen to Him, we can find rest in knowing that all that He says is true, and we can trust His process. When we trust God, we give to Him our all, and in return, He will guide us. When we understand this, we can follow the steps that God has laid out before us. And with knowing that He is in control, we can have hope in the things to come. We need to take time to sit still and be with God. We need to give over to Him all that worries us because He loves us and He wants to take care of us. Another important thing that we will learn in time is patience. Without patience, we try to pursue the things that we long for and the things that we might desire. We might even confuse our will with God's. When we aren't patient in waiting on God's timing for things, we will never reach what God has in store for us. We need to remember that the things that God has for us are greater than what we can imagine. And that is why we need to be patient, because we don't know what is required for the next season. Only God does. So don't resist what God is trying to do in you. He is developing in you things that will help in your next season of life. So in all this, what I'd like you to take away is that God wants the best for you. Sometimes we may not see it, but God has a plan and a purpose for our lives. And when you surrender to His will, He will grow you in many ways, and He will develop you into the person He has called you to be. So don't be afraid. When tests and trials come your way, have faith in knowing that God is developing your character.